Mr. Smucker, you're now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I refer to something Mr. Larson said. I'm not even sure where to start here. There's a lot to talk about. This has been a great conversation. A few things I want to mention, I think. Mr. Goss, you had responded in an answer to a question from Mr. Kustoff about the commission or the deal in '83 and talked very positively about that, really people coming together and resolving this, putting everything on the table and making it solvent for years to come. We could do that again, right? And we should do that.
Absolutely. We're much looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I'd like to suggest to Mr. Larson and others who I think are sincere about the desire to fix Social Security, there's a difference between proposing a bill that doesn't go anywhere and having a real bipartisan discussion about resolving this. And so I guess I'd like to suggest the Fiscal Commission that we had recommended that looks at both debt and Social Security really is an attempt to do that. And I know you've spoken out.
Would the gentleman yield?
Let me finish my sentence, and I'll be happy to. I know you've spoken out against that, and I'm telling you in all sincerity that I think that we could resolve this if we had that kind of conversation with the American people. We could do what has been done in '83, and we could take your bill and others and put them together and really resolve this for the American people. I can tell you that I'm certainly interested in doing that. People on our side are interested in doing that, and we're willing to put everything on the table. And so, yes, I'll yield.
So what is it you're putting on the table, number one? And there are many Social Security proposals that exist out there, not just Social Security 2100, but also there's a big difference between the Greenspan Commission and the commission that was proposed behind closed doors with only a select group of people with a decision that would require only an up or down vote. That is, that's not a democratic, let's sort through this, let's have this exposed to the public, let's go through this, and let's put all those discussions on the table. And I totally agree with you that people like yourself and others are very sincere about this, except the proof is in the pudding.
So and I'll take my time because I'd love to get to a lot more here, but I would love to continue to have that discussion. I would love to not just get a no on that, because I can tell you we're sincere about it and we could put everything on the table to try to solve this. I do want to, on your point on the debt, so very briefly so that people understand this, initially when Social Security was put in place, we were taking in more money coming in than was going out, correct? When did that change? When did Social Security no longer begin to receive more money annually than they were paying out? Mr. Goss?
Well, most recently that has occurred in 2010. It was expected to be in 2020 at the time of the '83 amendments, but because of some of the changes mentioned. Since
2010, we've been paying out more than we've been taking in.
Exactly.
And within 9 years, the difference, the trust, which was the difference that has been accumulating over time, that has been borrowed and is being paid back, in 9 years, that expires, right? That is gone. We no longer have excess funds. Am I right on that?
On a combined basis, maybe 10 years, on that order.
So at that point, unless something changes, people will no longer get all of their Social Security benefits because we don't have money to pay it, correct?
Under current law, we cannot pay what's not in the fund.
Or if at that time Congress decides to make it up by taking on additional debt, that's a choice we could make, right? We could continue to pay benefits if nothing has changed by taking on additional debt and paying for those benefits.
Unprecedented, but anything is possible.
But at that point, it would add to the debt, right?
If Congress were to change the law and say that we will borrow from the public in order
The only point I'm making, and I'd love to have more conversation about this publicly, that's why we need a commission to talk about this, is that this will contribute. There's a fundamental problem. We have far less workers than we do retirees. That ratio is far different. And so we need more workers. By the way, I agree with Ms. Sanchez, who I don't often agree with, on immigration. It is something that's a partial solution here. We need a lot more workers. We should be talking about legal immigration. But it's a great conversation. I wish others would agree that we need to continue to have this conversation. This is how I think a commission could work. We would take this conversation across America. We would begin to have a real understanding of the facts and how they exist. We just can't have that conversation in 5 minutes each here. I only get 4 if I give some to you, but I'd love to continue this conversation. But thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your indulgence of time here.
Thank you, Mr. Smucker. Next, we'll go to our dear friend from the great state of Illinois, Mr.